Hello again, everyone. Thank you and welcome again for joining us on Marriage Culture TV, where marriage and culture intercepts. Today, we are your hosts again. This is Nikki O.
And Queen Ethelene.
Thank you for joining us again. And this is
Welcome.
episode four.
Or
Four. And today we will be talking about family relationships. And we have some exciting subtopics for you. There's so many things that we wanted to talk about, but because of time, we've limited it to only four things. And those include visits, it includes boundaries, it includes conflicts, and financial support for the family. And one of the things while we were talking, Anthony was like, hey, you know what, Nikki, maybe you should start off today because, you come from a very big family, which I do. I have a very big family. I have amount of siblings. I'm not going to say it right here, right now, but I have a lot of siblings. And because of that, you know, I just think I had one of the best parenting styles growing up. My mom and my dad had a very big heart. My dad is deceased. My mom, just a very big heart. In our homes, you will always find different people from different areas just in our homes. My mom and my dad would put up people, different persons. And because of that, everyone kind of, I don't know, my mom's personality, you're drawn towards her. And once you meet my
yes,
mom, you start calling her
you
mom.
love
That's
her.
who
She's
she
such
is.
a sweet
Yeah,
woman.
she is. So when I decided to go into a relationship, and then to get married to someone who was not of my culture, it was easier for me with my mom. She was very
Yes.
accepting. And because she was so accepting, it made it such an easy road for us. Of course, in every single family, not everyone is going to see the same perspective and, maybe not as agreeable as you would like them to be. But because of my mom and the way we all grew up, having different people, different backgrounds, different situation and circumstances that has brought us all together in our home, it was much easier for us. And that was how it was for us. So, Kathleen, how about you? How was it for you?
Well, I come from a semi-large family. Compared to yours, mine was medium-sized. I I have quite a few siblings. And so, but growing up, I was always around people from different cultures. I mean, when I was in Jamaica, we had people that were stayed with us from time to time from different parts of the islands, but also from Haiti, from Panama. Then when I migrated to America, my circle of friends, I call us the Rainbow Coalition. I had friends from all walks of life. There was Indian, there was Russian, there were, different Asian countries as well, Africans. And so marrying someone from a different culture wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is so out of the norm for me because my friends were, I had, friends also too from the African continent. So I learned a lot about that culture, just having the many friends. And then I also had an attitude of being open-minded with regards to other cultures, love learning about other cultures and stuff like that. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. The only thing that really I had to know was had to get to know my family, my that I'm
Okay.
marrying into, my in-laws, and how to then, live in that different kind of environments. Like, what were some of the expectations? Not that I was going to change who I am, but just to make it work. So it wasn't easy. It was an easy transition for me. It wasn't hard at all.
Okay, so one of the first things that we wanted to talk about today was in regards to boundaries. And how does that play a part for you in your relationship or in marriage?
Um, when it comes to boundaries, really, I just have a few key things. I love for people. Why are you laughing? I know why she's laughing, actually. I love for people to feel comfortable in my home. I love to entertain. I love for them to feel like this is their second home. And the weakness with that is they will come and visit and they won't want to go home. I have a little goddaughter and godson that, oh my goodness, when they come to visit, it's like, oh no, this is our second home and this is our bedroom up here. But my boundaries are, like Nikki said, unless I know you quite well and you're a frequent visitor to the point that you're family or you are family, I don't like people perusing through my kitchen cabinets and opening my pots to see what's there or going into my refrigerator. I just think that's just common courtesy. You just don't do that. That's me. My biggest boundary, however, is my bedroom. If you love your life, stay out of my bedroom. I don't like people walking into my bedroom, whether it be family or not. That's just for my husband and myself. Or when I was single, I was a little bit lenient. You know, my very close friends could come. Like, I think Nikki probably have seen my bedroom or so when I was single. But as a married person, that's my safe, holy matrimonial haven. Doors closed, can't enter, nobody has the password. That's just me and my boundaries. What about you, Nikki? What are your boundaries?
I would say it's the same thing in regards to boundaries. Um, right. And you know, when Athleen and I was discussing this, I was laughing, you know, because I think for me, as long as I have my safe space, I'm good. Um, like I said, our homes were always open. But I did notice though with my parents that, you know, their bedroom was off limited except to immediate family, such as siblings or, you know, us, their children. So, you know, for me, yeah, that played a big role. But they were so open with everything. I was just telling Athleen that for me, it's not a big deal as long as I do have my personal space and you give me that much. You know, that's one of my boundaries. I like having my personal space. I'm an introvert, so I like that. I like, you
No, I'm
know,
sorry. I'm sorry. You said you're an introvert? Is that what you said?
I am such an introvert. So
Oh,
I like
wow.
being by myself and having that little time by myself and everything. Even though Athleen may think I'm not, but I really am, you know. So that, that's how it works for me. But I just wanted to continue before Athleen, you know, goes on another tangent. How about drop-in visits? How do you feel about that? You know, it's different, you know.
It's different with cultures. And definitely
Right,
for in my culture and in my home growing up, we would have people drop by on a Sunday. My mom
right.
would say, oh, they're timing her pots, meaning they know when dinner will be ready. And that's when they will come, you know, because then of course you're going to invite them to the table. But I remember when I was a teenager living in Maryland, and my husband, my elder brother lived in New York, and we were teenagers. As soon as summer school was out, or as soon as school was out for the summer, all roads led to New York. And so I would drive, I would get in my car, and I'd pop up on my brother, me and my siblings, and there was no leaving date in sight. There was no checkout dates, you know?
So let me interject right here. Let me interject right here. Sibling and dropping by, you know, that's kind of okay. How about in-laws or dropping by, or you know, the new family just getting up and dropping by? How do you
I
feel about that?
think that's different for different strokes for different folks, right?
Right.
For me, I like to prepare and I like to plan, and I would love for whomever the in-law is or visitor is to, I would like to have a plan in place. Like, okay, they're going to come, and I'll set the room a different way. I always change up the sheets or, you know, the decor a little bit as much as possible to make them feel comfortable. I like to know the kind of foods they like to eat so that I've grocery shopped and prepared for them. And I would prepare like a trip. So I like the pop-up visit. If it's more than a few hours in one day, would not work for me. What about you?
Definitely I would love to know way, way, way in advance, you know,
Yeah.
because I think with, you know, not, you're just not thinking about just that person just visiting, but also, you know, you being ready, like you said, and being prepared for that person. So you just want to make sure that you're, you know, you are prepared for it. But if it happens, it happens. My thing is, you know, I would love to know when the visit ends. And
Yes.
sometimes you might not know, you know, and like Kathleen said earlier, every culture is different. You know,
Yes.
maybe, you know, your other partner likes it that way and may just want them to come by whenever they feel like it, or he might have been the one, or she might have been the one to give the open invitation, hey, stop by anytime. So because they did say that, go ahead.
I can say that, you know, when I first got married, my husband and I had an agreement, and I think this worked for us and it can work for anybody. We had an agreement of a 2 week visit max. So no visitor could stay beyond 2 weeks. That was our thing. And we kept to it for the most part. We kept to it, especially the first couple of years in marriage. Nobody could stay beyond the 2 weeks. However, extending that visit now, what are your take, Nikki, or what is your take on financial support? Supporting your
Financial
family back home.
support.
That's a big thing with intercultural marriages.
Yes, it is. And just going back, I'm just gonna base my take off of what the Bible says. It says that you have to honor your parents, and one of the way of honoring your parents is financially. So it doesn't matter if you're in another state, if you're in another country, live wherever, honor is just honor. And I think a part of that comes with the financial part of it. So if you're able to, definitely, I would show my
Yes.
honor in that way. I was, like Kathleen knows, and anyone who knows me knows that I don't have um a mother-in-law or a father-in-law to deal with. So it's kind of different for me. But I'm just saying, and it's different strokes for different folks, and
Yes.
it's what works for you. But one of the things I was telling Kathleen is that, no one family member or in-law should have preferential treatment over the next. Those are just some of the things that we should always make sure we have lined out. If I'm going to give, my mom, say $2,000 a month, then your mom should also get 2,000 and not 2005 or 3,000. And if we decide on an amount, then we should always stick to it and not try to change that in the middle of everything. That can create some chaos, and some conflict.
Yeah, you definitely do. I like that you have that financial plan in place.
Yeah.
And I just also want to touch on a very important point. Like in America, parents mostly would have a retirement fund in place. They would have, something saved up. They would have a retirement home, depending, on their financial
Right.
status or situation. But a lot of, for us, like in Jamaica and other countries and cultures, the children are the retirement security
Yes,
blanket.
it is. Yes,
We
it is.
are the
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
We take care of our parents. Our
Second and
parents
third
raised
world
us.
countries.
Yeah, and a lot of other countries are like that. Your parents raised you and they sent you to the best of schools that they could afford, and they want you to do well in life. Because guess what? When they get older, you're the nursing home, you're the security blanket, you're the retirement fund, and I am
Yeah.
okay with that. So I'm a big stickler in spouses supporting their parents or parents-in-law, whatever the case may be. Like Nikki says, it's showing honor to your parents. And one way to love your spouse is to show honor to his or her parents, and that the reverse is true. They should also do that. So with that,
Okay.
we have
Sorry, go ahead, Kathleen.
no, we have come to the end of our topics, but I want Nikki to have a final thought here before we close out.
Yeah, I really wanted us to touch on one thing just for a minute before we close. She's trying to shut me up, but I wanted us to talk about how do you deal with conflicts though? If we're dealing with family, we're dealing with relationships, and we always have conflicts. We're always gonna have conflicts. That was one
Oh
of our
yeah,
first
I forgot
part
about
of
that.
episode one. How would you deal with conflicts in regards to the your husband's family or your wife's family?
I can
Kathleen.
say that as a Christian and as Christians, our conduct and our behavior should mirror that of a godly Christian person following godly principles. So, in handling conflict, Romans 12:18 says, if at all possible, live at peace with all men. If at all possible. So that means that they also have a part to play. And it may
Right.
not be possible at all times. But you know what? You need to be at peace. So you exhibit godly behavior and you pursue peace. Pursue peace with all men. That's what the Bible says. So when it comes to conflict, I would defer a lot, especially if it's with an in-law. I would suggest deferring a lot to your spouse to deal with his family, and I would hope that he would defer to me to deal with my family. Because I could say something to my sister, and I could say however I want, and we're sisters, we could have it out, and then at the end of the day, we're done, we love each other. That wouldn't go so well with an in-law. It
Yeah.
would be something that a bad seed that's sown that will reap bad fruits. So what's your take on that?
You know what? I'm gonna say I'm agreeing with you on that one. When it comes to conflicts, like you said, you just have to try and have that peace, with that person, whoever it is, because they're also a part of your family now that you're married. And like you're saying, the way you would handle it might be totally different from the way your husband would handle it. And because he has a familiarity with his family, then that helps when you are dealing with certain conflicts. But once you're together, you're in a home and you decide, hey, this is what we have decided on or we have agreed to do, just sticking to it and making sure you go
Yes.
ahead and just follow through with whatever you plan to do, so that both sides, are happy in
Yes.
in that area. And like Anthony said, we've come to the end. I know we've gone over time a little bit, but some of the things that we really wanted to talk about, of course, was the boundaries, the visits, conflict, and definitely financial support. you know if you have any questions at all, please let us know. Just drop us a note and we can give some more answers or go back into something else that we talked about. We're going to say share, share, share our YouTube page, like, subscribe. We will see you very soon again with number 5 for Grace. Again, this is Nikki O signing out for Marriage Culture TV.
And I'm Queen Athleen. Thanks for joining us. And until next
Thank
time,
you.
take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.